Good evening, everyone. If we could all have a seat. Good evening. We're so happy to have you here at this event. I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Walt Ross. I'm sure many of you have probably listened to his lectures previously. He has a wealth of knowledge to share with us. This evening it's going to be on essential oils, how to use them and their benefits. And I just wanted to share a few housekeeping things, if I can, with you at this time. So when you came in the door, off to the right, there are some trash cans there, if you wouldn't mind disposing of your trash or taking it home with you. When you go out the door, to the right, on the right-hand side, are the ladies' rooms. If you go out to the door on the left are the men's rooms. And the speaking engagement will be about an hour. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to folks that have these red tags on. They are your hosts for the evening. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Walt Cross to you, and I hope you enjoy it and have a wonderful evening with us. Thank you.
Good evening, y'all. Can you hear me okay? Okay? Yes. Good. All right. Well, it's good here to be here. It's beautiful. This building is plumb pretty. It's beautiful. Just think of the history. I was thinking earlier, think of the history that has gone through this building. Amazing. Trying to find a figure here. All right. As we look, my keys don't know I've got the microphone in there. As we look at essential oils, who's ever used essential oils? Can anyone guess what the number one essential oil in the world is? Lavender. You're exactly right. It's lavender. Yes. What's another very popular essential oil? Peppermint. Peppermint? Yes. And what do y'all use peppermint for? To help breathe?
Mice away.
It's mice. It's actually mice for rats, for squirrels, for spiders. Some folks say it even helps to deter snakes. That's a great essential oil. When you look at herbs, you've got basically three different ways of having herbs. One is you can have the bulk herb, which you can use, and we're going to talk about tomorrow night a lot more in depth. But that is, you can make teas, you can make herbal capsules, you can make fomentations, and then if you want to, do y'all put food up here? Do y'all know the term putting food up? Yes. Okay. So let's say you're putting your tomatoes up or your corn up. Essential oils are like putting your herbs up, because your herbs, I don't know if it's where I'm standing. There we go. Who's growing tomatoes? Now, can you pick your tomatoes, and my tomatoes are pretty well finished for the year. But let's say I picked a mess of tomatoes. Is it going to last a long time? No, they're going to start to spoil unless you put them up. You can freeze them or you can them. They seem to, I like them canned. I'd much rather just have a tomato on the vine, but that just doesn't last that well over long. And so what you can do is you put it up, or to put up herbs, you just make an extract out of it. You can make a tincture, and that uses alcohol usually in some form. And then, or you can use an essential, or you can use vegetable glycerin. And I think there's still vegetable in there. Vegetable glycerin and some distilled water and make an extract. Or if you want to make herbs on steroids, make essential oils. Mary, do you have some samples for me? Maybe you can bring me a couple. Plus, you mentioned peppermint essential oil. Does anyone know how many cups of peppermint tea you would have to drink to get the same medicinal benefit as one drop of a good quality peppermint essential oil? Any guesses? How many cups of peppermint tea are you going to need to drink to get the same medicinal benefit if it was peppermint essential oil?
6 to 8.
How much?
6 to 8.
6 to 8? 28. 28, we used to think around 26, 24. Well, now we found 28 cups of tea to get the benefit of one drop of peppermint essential oil. And so essential oils are just extremely strong. And I'd like to talk about those this evening. Okay, has anybody ever been to Appalachia? Well, we still have some of these old Appalachian houses. I'm from Appalachia, as you can tell by my accent. And this is what Appalachia used to look a lot more like. So I call this Old Mountain Remedies. So the history of essential oils. Fragrant plants have been used in healing practices for thousands of years, according to NIH, National Institute of Health, across many cultures, including ancient China, India, and Egypt. There are over 200 references of aromatics, incenses, and ointments used throughout the Old and New Testament of the Bible. Frankincense. Who's ever heard of frankincense? Who's ever used frankincense? The saying with frankincense is, when in doubt, use frankincense. Frankincense is so powerful. Myrrh. You ever heard of myrrh? Yes. Hyssop, cinnamon, cassia, rosemary, spikenard. The scented liquid taken from certain plants using steam or pressure. Essential oils contain the natural chemicals that give the plant its essence, specific odor, and flavor. Now, when I use herbs, I'm more interested in the medicinal benefit than I am just it smelling good. Or if I'm using tea, let's say essential oils, if I'm using teas, I'm more interested in the medicinal benefit than I am just, it tastes pretty good. And so, when we're looking at essential, so you've got your specific odor and flavor, but also I like looking at the medicinal benefit, which NIH isn't going to talk about, the medicinal benefit. Essential oils are used in perfumes, food flavorings, medicine, and aromatherapy. Well, they do talk about medicine there, but not up in that other sentence. Laboratory studies and animal studies have shown that certain essential oils have antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, calming, or energizing effects. Several years ago, one of my staff, she had worked for me for about 4 years, and she was about to retire from graduate from high school, and getting ready to go to college. And she said, "Well," she says, "it seems like over the past 4 years, coffee's not a good thing I should be drinking." And I said, "Well, there's some other things might be a little bit better that you don't have the negative effects of caffeine. Why do you ask?" She says, "Well, I drink a cup of coffee on the way to school every day, not because I like the taste. I just need energy to wake me up. Is there anything else I can do?" I said, well, get you a glass or a metal cup, because see, you can't put essential oils in plastic because it'll melt the plastic and you'll end up drinking plastic. And so I said, get you a metal container such as this here, or get you like a mason jar, a glass, put your water in there and put maybe 2 drops of peppermint essential oil. Try it out. A week later, she told me she tried it all week, and she had more energy. We're talking about energy here. She had more energy than she did drinking the coffee. And she didn't have the negative effects of the caffeine. Lavender and tea tree essential oils have been found to have some hormone-like effects. Studies in animals show sedative or stimulant effects for specific essential oils, as well as positive effects on behavior and the immune system. Safety. Safety testing on essential oils show very few side effects or risks when they are used as directed. Allergic reactions and skin irritants may occur in aromatherapy in patients, especially when essential oils are in contact with the skin for long periods of time. Well, my son, Carson, is allergic to peanuts. Now, I'd venture to say most of y'all can eat peanuts, but for Carson, he can't do peanuts. Or have you ever seen anybody who's allergic to milk? Or maybe a person who might be allergic to cashews. So there can be just normal things that someone can be allergic to. One of the least allergenic is brown rice. And I've had people tell me it's a minority, very few, but they're allergic to brown rice. So a person could have some type of skin irritation or allergic reaction to an essential oil. I'm still reading from National Institute of Health. Sun sensitivity may develop when citrus or other essential oils are applied to the skin before sun exposure. And we'll talk about this if we're able to hit some of those essential oils. Are all essential oils equal? The answer is no, they're not. Different distillation or extraction processes can have dramatic effects on their chemistry and medicinal effects. Let me go back. There's several keys when you look at an essential oil. It's kind of like, let's go back to the tomatoes. Who's ever grown tomatoes? We call them maters back at home. If you wanted a tomato sandwich, would you go out and pick a green tomato and put it on your sandwich? Unless it's fried. Now, I know what fried green tomatoes are. I come from the South. We fry everything. Maters, taters, ice cream, pickles, cheese, ice cream, okra, poke. If we can fry it, we fry it in the South. But let's say you wanted a good old tomato sandwich. You're not going to pick the tomato green. Nor are you going to pick that tomato half rotten. You're going to pick it where it's just what we call plum ripe. I mean, it feels just right. The same is true when you pick your herbs. You want those herbs to be harvested when they are like fine ripe. Now, how many of y'all who's ever done hay? Okay. So my daddy would pray. I grew up on a farm. And my daddy would pray when hay's coming in that it doesn't rain. Why? That's right. So if he went ahead and cut it and baled it, what would happen? That's right, burn the barn down. Exactly. And so Dad would pray that it wouldn't rain because, see, the nutritional value of hay goes like this, like a bell curve, and then it starts dropping off the other end. Am I correct? You want to catch it when it's at the highest peak. We got more milk out of the cows when it was at the highest peak. The horses do better. Pardon?
It loses moisture.
It what now?
Loses moisture.
Loses moisture. And so what happens, you want that peak right here. Well, you want your herbs picked when they are the most nutritious because you're after the medicinal benefit. And so there's a number of things that determine, one, the herb, if it's the most nutritious, or where is it grown? Lavender. The best place to get lavender is in Europe. The best place in the world to get kudzu is where? The southeast United States. Kudzu grows the best, and this, you know what kudzu is probably. Kudzu grows crazy. It grows a foot a day. So there's many things that are involved in the most nutritious, and so you're looking for a company that meets those criteria. How are essential oils applied? Direct inhalation, where you breathe it. Indirect inhalation, where you can, indirect inhalation, direct inhalation, and applied essential oils to the skin. Indirect inhalation, what would that be? Pardon?
A humidifier.
A humidifier, diffuser, exactly. Anybody ever have anxiety? You don't have to raise your hand, but do you know anybody has anxiety? It's running rampant across America today. I have found something that can shut down anxiety within normally 2 minutes. I was at the counter one day, and I'm standing there and I'm helping some folks. And there's about 4 ladies there. Walter's helping my son. He's over the herb cabinet. My herb cabinet's probably from here to the wall over and about as big as that. And he's helping a lady over there. And I noticed this girl come in, and she walks over to my essential oils. And Daddy taught me to read cows. Read their eyes, read their head, read their gait. You know what I'm talking about if y'all been on a farm? Read horses. You know what happens if the ears are poking back? You better pay attention. Well, you can take the same thing and read people. You know, just look at them, see what's going on. Well, this girl come walking in, you can just tell she wasn't right. And so she's over there by my essential oils, and I told the lady, just a minute, let me help this young lady. Because, she just didn't look right. So I walked over to her and I said, ma'am, are you okay? And she was a young girl in her mid-20s. And she said, I am having the worst anxiety attack I've ever had. And she was literally shaking. I said, would you like me to help you? Please. I said, okay, I'll be right back. So I walked back into the back room, came back out with 2 bottles of essential oils. And I put, and the 2 oils were lavender and vetiver. Who's ever used vetiver? Vetiver is phenomenal. They call it the PTSD essential oil. I put 1 drop here, so transdermally, like a nicotine patch or a nitro patch, transdermally it would go into the blood, and I put it on me first. Now you go and ask your doctor sometime, go in there with anxiety, and he says, well, I want you to take this drug. And you say, will you take it first? But you can do that with essential oils. And I said, well, let me show you, it's safe. And so I put a drop here, and I rubbed it. So it went from this to this wrist, and now it's going in here, and it's going in here, transdermally going into the what? Blood. And I said, okay. So I was breathing on it. And then I went and got the other bottle. The first one was lavender. The second one was what? Vetiver. Now, huge difference in viscosity. Lavender will drip very fast. Vetiver is like 5-weight motor oil. You just hold it there, and it takes a while to drop out. And it finally, a drop will come out. Rub it, and then breathe it. And I said, are you okay doing this if I put it on you? She says, yes. And so I put a drop of lavender. She rubbed it, she breathed it. I said, okay, let me try the vetiver. And I put the vetiver on it, and she was breathing. I said, now, it's going to take a couple minutes. Just stay right here. Let me help this lady here, and I'll be right back. So I walk over, and I finish with this lady, checking her out. I'm just finished checking this lady out. Walter finishes with the lady at the herb cabinet, and I kind of give him the hint now over this lady. And so he comes over, starts talking to this girl, and it's a different voice. Have you ever heard somebody's voice who has anxiety? Does it sound different than when they're relaxed? It can. She sounded totally different. So I told the next lady, I said, just a minute, I'll be right back. So I walked over and I said, are you okay? She said, what did you just do? I said, what do you mean? She said, I was having the worst anxiety attack of my life, and it's gone. What did you just do to me? And what do you think I said? I didn't do it. God did. Now, is that true? Is God the one that heals folks? I believe that. And so I said, God used those essential herbs to help to calm you down. That's what He made those. He made the herbs for us to use as medicine. And she says, it's totally gone. I had a guy one time, I was speaking in a little town in Tennessee, and I had a break, and he came up, and he's a Vietnam vet, he was a medic. He came up, and this eye here was just going like this. And this eye was straight. He said, I'm having a PTSD attack. He says, can you help me? I said, just a minute. So I go back, I get the vetiver and the lavender, and I showed him again. See how it's important to show folks, it's safe on you? And I put it on me, and I said, can I do it for you? And he said, yes. He went back and he sat down. I was almost finished with the break. Less than 5 minutes, y'all. Less than 5 minutes. He comes back over. We have total symmetry. This eye is not doing this anymore. It's just like, he says, it's gone. PTSD attack is gone. That is how powerful essential oils can be. Remember I said there are herbs on steroids? They're just super strong. You can indirectly inhale them. And how do you do that? Through diffusers or your humidifiers, or you may take it in a pot of water and boil it or whatever. Or you may have one of those little rings that you put around on your light bulb. Directly, where these folks breathe straight in. So it went into their lungs, and where did it go from their lungs? In the blood. Or you can apply the essential oils to the skin, as this lady did, straight on the skin, or this man did, and it went both ways. So I was using both of these two, direct inhalation and applying it to the skin. How are they applied? They can be topical, that's the English model. Inhaled, that's German model. Ingested, it's the French model. They can be diluted, mixed with an oil. Fractionated appears to be the best, then applied directly to the skin. I like fractionated coconut oil, works very, very well. It can be undiluted, which is called neat, N-E-A-T, neat. So what I was doing for this girl here was I put it on, was it diluted or was it neat? Neat. It was neat, that's right. I didn't put it with a carrier oil. And neat is directly applied to the skin with no oil. Stronger concentration, it's a therapeutic grade, but when it's neat, you can have evaporation. It can evaporate as much as 92% of some oils. So frankincense, is that an expensive one? Yes. Melissa, is that even more expensive? Yes. And so you may want to use a carrier oil because you may not have as much evaporation, and sometimes that carrier oil can help to drive too. Or you can use it in fomentations. Inhalation, diffuse it into the air by a diffuser or a pot of water through an aromatic effect. Now let's go to the Bible. What was the essential oil what was this lady's name? Mary. What oil did she put on Jesus' feet and pour all over him? Spikenard. Yes. Then took Mary a pound. Now, that's a lot, y'all. Appointment of spikenard. Very costly. Now, here's a bottle of essential oil. That is nowhere near it. If I broke this open, you think you'd smell it? Think if it was a pound of it. Very costly. Anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Spikenard. The extraction methods, there's different extraction methods that we talk about. You've got this one is steam distilled from the rhizomes, and the rhizomes are kind of like roots, they're just a little different. Common application methods can be applied neat. Now, how's that? Neat is what? Directly, no carrier. It can be diffused or inhaled the aroma directly. Let's see here. I'll come back here. Yeah. The common practices used can be used for aging, anxiety, candida, cellulite, convulsions, depression, detoxing, diuretic, emotions, gas, indigestion, insomnia. Are folks having a problem sleeping today? Yes. Irritated skin, menstrual issues, muscle spasms. It can be used as a perfume. What's another oil that's out there used a lot for as a perfume?
Musk.
What, musk? Okay. Mary Lou, what's our biggest one that folks use for perfume?
Well, there's several. There's jasmine, there's patchouli.
Jasmine, patchouli. Who's ever heard of patchouli? A lot of folks come in and just get it as a perfume, patchouli. Pink eye. Now, on pink eye, let me back up. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about some very basic keys to health. And I find these basic keys are very important to make the body run. Now, let's go back to the farm. I'm just no country boy. And before you pull that tractor out, a real fast way to get in trouble was to not grease it. Y'all understand? Not check the oil. Understand? On your car, did your daddy tell you to change the oil every 3,000 miles? Did he tell you to rotate the tires every 6,000 miles? Tell you to wash it and don't spoil your tires? Those are important things to do to keep them wearing out. Well, the body has several different keys that makes it run longer. Harvard University, Mayo Clinic, Duke University, Cornell University. And they're teaching these laws that causes a person to live longer. And I'll talk about those tomorrow. That's important to do those laws. You don't want to you want to find the cause and reverse the cause if you can. If I took a piece of sandpaper and I'm rubbing my arm, what's going to happen? It's going to rub the hide off of it. And if you come to me and say, let me put some medicine on there, and you put medicine on there, and you leave, and I go rubbing it again. And you come back and say, oh, let me put some more medicine on. Oh, please, it needs some medicine. You put more medicine on, you leave. Is it going to heal? I have to stop the cause. You've got your tractor. And you're out driving through the field, and you're picking up a bale of hay with your lift. You pull it down, it lifts up that bale of hay. And for some reason, that lift just kind of goes back down. You got to pull it back up, it goes back up, and it comes back down. Well, there's a number of things that could be wrong with it, but one of them could be when you turn around, you see this liquid you're draining out, right? Now you got two choices. You can get you a hired hand and pay him to get a 5-gallon bucket and pour hydraulic fluid in there, or you can fix the leak. I worked in regular health care for 20 years. The majority of the time, we just hired a hired hand to fix the leak. You know what I'm talking about? It's better to go and fix the root cause. That's what I found over the last 23 years as I've changed and gone to lifestyle health. So if you have pink eye, what do you got pink eye for? And then there's other things you can do. I don't think I put spikenard in the eye. I wouldn't do what Daddy did. Dad would take some salt and he'd throw it in cows' eyes, and that would get rid of it. But don't do that to humans. And we'll talk about what to do for pink eye tomorrow night that works very, very well that you might have at home, out of the kitchen. It's good for rashes, seizures, stress. Stress is the #1 diagnosis in America, but WHO, World Health Organization, says that depression is soon to outnumber or be the #1 diagnosis in America, according to the WHO. Tension, ulcers. Now let's go and look at these. That is a lot of different problems. But many times people use some pretty powerful drugs. And spikenard doesn't have the side effects as many of those drugs do. What are the safety hazards? Safe for neat application. And that's it. When you look at spikenard, and you look at what the research says about using spikenard, it says it's safe. Look at this one, lavender. Steam distilled from the flowering top. Common application can be applied neat, diffused, or inhaled. Orally, you can take lavender orally, flavoring in food and beverages. It helps to calm. People they'll put it on a little handkerchief, and they'll stick it under their pillowcase. And as they're laying there at night, they can breathe that lavender, and it's calming. It's good for allergies, anxiety, appetite loss, arrhythmias, atherosclerosis. Which one's that one? Clogged or hardening? Clogged arteries. Yes, clogged arteries. Bites and stings, blisters, boils. Y'all know what boils are? Some people say boils, but we call them boils. It soothes the breast, burns. Lavender is the best thing I have found for a burn. It beats aloe vera. It beats potato. Lavender is just huge. If you get a burn in the kitchen, put lavender on it. If you get sunburn, put lavender on it. If you get burned at a fire, put lavender on it. It's amazing. Helichrysum is also good, but it's a whole lot more expensive. It's good for cancer. Dr. George Fletches was using lavender essential oil for breast cancer. And then he started studying, I did National Institute of Health a little bit ago, NIH. He went reading NIH and what benefits does lavender have for breast cancer. And he found in National Institute of Health that it has the same chemical properties as the chemotherapy used for breast cancer. This week, I got a phone call from a buddy of mine. He's internal medicine over in North Carolina. And isn't it fun when you learn new stuff? I mean, when you learn new things in health, I just get excited. And I get, this fella calls me. He's over in North Carolina. He says, Walt, I just learned something. This is so cool. I learned it from another doc. I'm now using it on my patients, and it is working. I said, what is it? He says, I take lavender. And there's a pharmacy in his area who that other doctor was working to compound a lavender suppository and place it just into the rectum, have the person go to sleep at night, and then transdermally as it breaks down in the rectum there at night, it then goes through the wall of the rectum into the prostate, and it's getting rid of prostate cancer. He said, this is so cool. Is that not cool? That's cool stuff. Is that radiation? No. Is that chemotherapy? No. It's lavender. Cancer. And so it shouldn't be surprising. Dr. Fletcher said that women, put it on, if you got one breast with cancer, put it on both breasts. Put it on there and symmetrical, use it on both of them, and apply it liberally 3 times a day. And he found it to help kill breast cancer. Now, did he do other things? Yes. He had them eating healthy and other things that we can talk about later. Chicken pox helps with concentration, convulsions, dander. Here's that depression thing coming up. So lavender might be good to have. And what do they say about lavender? When in doubt, use lavender. Diabetic sores. There's some things that I do on diabetes that works a little bit better than this probably, and I'll talk about those tomorrow night, so come tomorrow night. Diaper rash, it's a good diuretic. Exhaustion, fevers, gangrene. I do the same thing for gangrene as I do the diabetic ulcers. I had a guy come in, he was in Boston, just south of y'all here, and he had diabetes. He had neuropathy. He had a foot that was, he had a diabetic ulcer that was really bad. It got gangrene. And the surgeon in Boston had already scheduled to amputate. So he called up and said, will you see if you can help me. Come on. I was working in Virginia at the time. He came down, and that was either in 2000 or 2001. I want to say it was in 2000. That guy still got his foot. They didn't chop his foot. He was scheduled to have it chopped off. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. What are the things you can do to help prevent that kind of thing? And he had gangrene. Gas or flagellants. Repels gnats. I use it do y'all have gnats here? We've got them bad in Appalachia. I live near Gatlinburg. And when I go down to the garden, I'll use lavender. There's several things I use. I might use lavender this time. I don't want them getting used to it. So I'll use lavender. I might use citronella. I might use clove oil. There are just a number of things you can use. Grief or sorrow, dry hair, fragile hair, hair loss, hay fever, herpes simplex, hyperactivity. Which would you rather use? Ritalin? Maybe just a good diffuser going. Or maybe some transdermal. It's amazing how it can calm little kids down. Yes, there's some other things that we do. Are they drinking adequate water? Are they going to bed on time? Are they eating a healthy diet or eating foods with red dyes and yellow dyes? And, are they eating sugar and they're bouncing all over the place? You need to get rid of the cause. But lavender's good for that. Impetigo, inflammation, insomnia, itching, jet lag. I get that sometimes. Just got back from Alaska earlier than I did, and I had a little bit of problems with some jet lag. When I go to Africa, that's where I have problems. When I go to Africa or Sweden, I have more of a problem doing that one. Dry lips, mastitis, menopause, mental stress, mood swings. You know anybody needing some lavender there? I can take a whole truckload to Washington, D.C. Mosquito repellent, muscular paralysis, pain, Parkinson's, phlebitis, physical stress, poison ivy, poison oak, post-labor, postpartum depression. On postpartum depression, according to Harvard, take a look at the estrogen. Estrogen might be off. Fix that estrogen, but don't have to use a primer. There's some things that we can use other than that. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Rashes, relaxation, rheumatoid arthritis, sedative, seizures. I've seen it to be very beneficial in seizures. But the best thing I have found for seizures is something called Copaiba. Have you ever used Copaiba? Copiaba, I think it is. It's out of Brazil. It is the most anti-inflammatory phytochemical that's been identified in the world, it has been called. But Copaiba is excellent for seizures. Dry skin, sensitive skin ulcers. Look, I'm still on lavender. Stress, sleep, stretch marks, sunburn, tachycardia. What's that? That's where your heart's beating fast. Teeth grinding, teething pain. So you can use it for a child that's teething. Another one works really, really good, and y'all got plenty of it around here. I've used it on all 6 of my grandkids. And that's pine sap. Who's ever used pine sap? Pine sap is amazing. We're going to talk about that one tomorrow night, of how you can use pine sap. And y'all got a mess of pine trees right here. But all 6 of my grandkids used it for teething. I got one still using it. Tension, thrush, ticks, leg ulcers. Ticks, we're talking about ticks where a person shakes, not the bug tick. Leg ulcers, varicose ulcers, vertigo, withdrawals, worms, wilts, and wrinkles. Look at all those items. Isn't that amazing? Can you see why they say when in doubt, use lavender? Amazing. Safety, safe for DEET application. When in doubt, lavender is very safe. Now, obviously, you do not want a child to go and drink this, nor would you. But that's just using common sense. You know, and let's say you have Clorox. Anybody got Clorox at the house? And you know, bleach. You don't keep, you know, you put that up where a little child won't get into it. You use that carefully, but you know, if you use it. Eucalyptus. That's what this one is. Eucalyptus. Who's ever used a eucalyptus? Powerful. It's the extraction method. Steam is steam distillation from the leaves. Common application methods can be applied neat or diluted 1-to-1. So that means 1 part eucalyptus and 1 part some type of a carrier oil. Because children and those with sensitive skins, as we get older, you may have noticed our skin starts getting a little sensitive. So you may want to put some type of carrier oil. You can diffuse it, you can inhale it, you can use it in a nebulizer. Did you work with Dr. Acton?
What?
Did you work with Dr. Acton?
No.
No? A very good friend of mine, Dr. Agatha Thrash, amazing physician. Another doctor, Dr. Joel Arcilla. Did you ever meet Joel?
No.
Joel was the top surgeon in Philadelphia in his field. He also, that wasn't enough money, so he was a trauma physician at a major trauma center. One day the Lord told him, Joel, I want you doing natural lifestyle. And he changed and started doing lifestyle medicine like this right here. And both Dr. Agatha and Joel told me that you can use essential oil, the essential oil of eucalyptus. And what you can do, who's ever heard of albuterol? Ever heard of albuterol?
Yeah.
It's a bronchial dilator. Eucalyptus blows the doors off albuterol. And what they told me is you just take your nebulizer and fill it up with your distilled water, put 4 drops of eucalyptus oil in it, a good quality one, and nebulize that. And do it as needed, PRN, just like you do your nebulizer. You don't have the side effects, don't have the cost, and it's amazing how well it works. So you can also diffuse it. Asthma, here we go. So you could use that nebulizer for asthma, bronchitis. Eucalyptus is used for cancer, cellulite, colds, congestion, coughs, disinfectant, dust mites, earaches, fever, flu, kidney stones, malaria, mental sluggishness, muscle fatigue, pain, pneumonia, respiratory problems, shingles, and sinusitis. Now, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to look at just herbs in bulk form. And you're going to learn tomorrow afternoon that when you see this word, you're going to see a word before it that says blood purifier. And if you see blood purifier, you're going to see this word. I find if an herb purifies the blood, it also kills cancer. If it kills cancer, it's going to purify the blood. They just work hand in hand. Who's ever heard of Podiarco? Podiarco is one of my favorite herbs. It's a great, it's like Pac-Man. Y'all remember Pac-Man? It loves eating cancer. It's made. I use it for thrush. You can use Podiarco for, all kinds of stuff. But tremendous for killing cancer. These are just a number of things that you can use eucalyptus for. How many of y'all grew up using Vicks? How many of y'all's grandmas had Vicks? How many of y'all's grandmas, when you had a sore throat, would come up to you and say, open up, pull that Vicks out and open it up, take a big old finger of it and say, open up your mouth, and have you swallow it? Anybody ever do that? Yes. Yeah. Now, I don't say that petroleum jelly is the best thing for us to be swallowing, but did it work? Yeah, it worked. And there's some unpetroleum jelly you can use today and make yum. But there's several things in Vicks, but a major active ingredient in Vicks was eucalyptus. How many of y'all grandmas spread it on your chest? Sure. Put it on your feet. Or when you're sniffling, stick it up your nose. Or you put it on your mustache. You have a mustache. Vicks is just very, very beneficial. Safety, it's recommended to use eucalyptus diluted. Possible skin sensitivity. Now you can use it neat, remember we read that, but be cautious. Peppermint. Peppermint is amazing. Steam distilled from the leaves can be applied neat or diluted 1:1 with carrier oil, diffused or inhaled aroma directly. It can be taken orally. Anybody ever know anybody having a smoking problem? Down in the South, we have a huge smoking problem. Hardest town I ever did stop smoking classes was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Can you imagine why? That's where RJR is. But I make something called a smoker's blend. I learned it from Jackson. You know Jackson. I learned it from Jackson. And you take 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice, 1/4 of a cup of honey, and 1/3 of a teaspoon of peppermint essential oil. Mix it up. Take a nip anytime you get a hankering. Now, y'all know what a nip is? A swig. Not a lot. Y'all know what a hankering is? That's when you want a kiss from your wife. You have a hankering for a kiss. That's a desire for. And so you just take a little nip whenever you get a hankering for that cigarette. And it's amazing. And then I started, well, what if, folks come to me with all kinds of problems. It might be drinking. And it's not water. They're drinking where I live. What do you think one of the drinking problems where I live is? Moonshine. Now, but see, moonshine's legal in Tennessee. Because, see, now we charge tax on it. And so they say it's all perfectly fine. You can tell everybody your daddy just moonshine. And then you don't send your daddy to jail. Did you know that there's more tax revenue in Sevier County where Dollywood is? More tax revenue in that county for moonshine than there is all of Dolly's stuff. Dollywood, Dixie Stampede, every bit of it. It's amazing. But I found that when I use that blend, it can actually work when a person is trying to quit drinking. But then I found I have people come to me with all kinds of drug problems, and I even have them used for drug issues. And so that can be used for a number of things. And it has peppermint essential oil in it. Peppermint, commonly used for alertness, allergies, asthma, autism, here you go, bad breath, burns. What was the other one that was good for burns? What was it? Lavender. Colon health. It's excellent for colon health. I make a formula I call it a GI formula. It works for ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, gastritis, and peppermint is one of them. I put psyllium husk hull, slippery elm, marshmallow root, peppermint, and spearmint. It's amazing how the phytochemicals that God put in those plants heals the gut. It's remarkable. Cravings, such as what we just talked about, alcohol, drugs, tobacco, digestive discomfort. Who's ever had a stomach problem? You drink peppermint tea. So if you take 1 drop of peppermint essential oil, how many cups of peppermint tea would you have to drink? 28 to get the same medicinal benefit. So can you see the benefits of essential oils where you don't have to take it with you? Like, we came up here today and I didn't have to bring, my herbs to make a tea or whatever, I can just use. If I need some eucalyptus, I got eucalyptus. If I need peppermint, here's my peppermint. If I need copaiba, that's huge, y'all. It's amazing how well copaiba can help. You can help you make you sleep at night, and then lavender, really good essential oils. Energy. Have you ever just not have energy? I mean, you're just plumb tired. You know what plumb means? Totally. You're just plumb tired and you just ain't got a lick of energy. Well, what you can do is you can take peppermint and put it right here back on your neck. You can put it behind your ears. You can put just a couple of drops in some water and drink. And that can give you energy. Fevers. We've used it for fevers. If a person, my old grandson this week had a fever. He's a year old. I told my daughter, make him some peppermint tea. It's really good to help break a fever. Gamma radiation exposure, gastritis. Again, that's a gastrointestinal issue. Headaches, you can put a drop up here and a drop up here. Lavender, peppermint. Be careful though, don't let it drop in your eyes. That's going to be another problem. Hives, hot flashes. Tomorrow I'll talk more on hot flashes tomorrow night. And there's some things I find works even better on hot flashes. It's amazing how well it works for hot flashes. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Loss of sense of smell. When folks had, over the last 2 years, they were having problems with smell. Not everybody. Nothing's 100%. I mean, you can take Benadryl and put you to sleep. I take Benadryl, it may not put me to sleep. You use drugs, different ways of drugs for different things, and pharmaceuticals. That one drug doesn't work for everybody. Well, same here, it doesn't work, but a lot of people, this helped when they were having problems with sense of smell. Memory, migraines, it decreases milk supply. So be cautious. In 1969, my home state of Tennessee, and I'll finish with this one on peppermint, we're running out of time. My home state of Tennessee was the 4th healthiest state in the United States. It's hard to believe it. 4th healthiest. In 1969. In 2009, we were the 4th unhealthiest. So Nashville wanted to find out what happened. Number 1, when we went out to eat when I was a boy, we went to Grandma's house. That was going out to eat. In 2009, it was going out and eating Hardee's and McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Pizza Hut. In 1969, when we got something to drink, it was usually water. If you got you a Coca-Cola, it was a little Coca-Cola. In 2009, people get something called gulps. And they go to restaurants and they can refill their gulps. In 1969, I rode my bicycle to school. Unless I got in trouble, my dad would make me walk. We worked. We exercised. We had chores. In 2009, what were kids doing? That's right. They're playing video games. They're on their phones, whatever they were doing. They were not working, exercising. And the other thing Nashville found is from 1969 to 2009, women quit nursing their children. I have girls that come in and they'll say, with their moms is the one that drags me in. It's not the girl. If the mama drags the girl in. And they'll say, I need something for, let's say it's croup or colic. And I'll say, what you feeding that baby? You nursing it? No. That would probably fix it. Why don't you nurse? That's gross. That's the comments I get. That's gross. Or, my girlfriends don't nurse. Nursing is the way it's made. That's the way it should be. That's the way God made us. the cardiovascular benefits, the immune system benefits, the digestive benefits, just the relationship between mama and child. Y'all understand that, ladies? It's so important. And so if the mama is nursing, be careful using peppermint, because we don't want to affect that. But this is really cool stuff, y'all. We have girls come in, and they're having challenges with volume. And so I send them to Mary Lou. One of the docs in town sent his wife in. Well, actually, he came in. The first time, he came in. And we turned that lady into a Holstein. I'm serious. She had to cut back on the herbs because she was producing way too much milk. What do you think happened the next time she had a child? That doc had her right back in. Because she just had problems with that. There's a number of things that can cause it. But this is the coolest thing. We have ladies that come in who adopt. And yes, I learned this in anatomy and physiology. I had a professor who told us this was possible, but I didn't believe it. But they'll come talk to Mary Lou and they're able to nurse. And they adopt.
Wow.
Now that is cool. Muscle stiffness, sinusitis. You can dilute it for topical applications. Avoid at night. Why do you think you at night? You need to sleep. Why does it get dark at night? God made it that way. So we'd sleep. You can talk about the rotation of the earth and all kinds of scientific stuff, but just bottom line, God made it that way so we could sleep. He could have put two suns out there. We've been awake all the time, but he put one. And as I read Harvard, as I read Cornell, as I read Mayo Clinic, they're telling us that we need to sleep. Harvard is now saying that, do y'all know what the lymphatic system is? Well, when we went to school, the brain didn't have a lymphatic system. We didn't know it. But around 2013, they found that the brain has a lymphatic system. It's called the glymphatic system. And Harvard found that really the best time that you turn on that glymphatic system is around 9 o'clock at night. And from around 9 o'clock to midnight, the brain does a deep cleaning. And from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, it does a deep clean. From 10 o'clock to midnight, it does a thorough clean and flushing the brain. If you're not going to sleep by midnight, you ain't flushing the toilet. And we need to flush the brain. So we need to go to sleep when it gets dark outside. That's just the way God made it. I've got me an old Chevy pickup truck. And I was having problems this week with my brakes. Do you think I get a Ford manual? Do you think I get a Toyota manual? I get a Chevy manual. If you don't get a Chevy manual, get a Ford manual. God turned the lights off for a reason. This is chicken country, right? Where I come from, you go to bed with the chickens and get up with the chickens. Y'all understand that? There's a reason when we were children we did that. There's a reason our parents and grandparents did that. Because you just run better. But we then get lights and TV and radio and all that stuff and stay up till all 9 hours a night. And it's not healthy for us. So you don't want to use it at night because we need to have good sleep. There's so much more I could share with y'all, but we got to get home at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, come talk about tomorrow. I can't see you out there. Where are you? Come on up. Tell us what we're going to do tomorrow. I can see you now.
Wow. What an amazing time we had this evening.
So we just received the tip of the iceberg with all the things that God gave us for herbs and essential oils. It's just amazing.
So, we just want to thank you, Walter, for coming here and helping start to share some of the benefits of essential oils and their benefits. And tomorrow we are going to talk about, here at the Crosby Center at 4 o'clock, herbs and their benefits. And then at 7 o'clock, Old Mountain Remedies by Health Problems. But Saturday morning, at the Searsmont Seventh-day Adventist Church, we invite you to join us. Walter Cross is going to be speaking here to us about what is our mission and preparing the brain for battle. So we will be having a luncheon, a potluck, where we will be having haystacks. So we invite you all to come if you'd like to have a fellowship meal with us after. And the Searsmont Seventh-day Adventist Church is located at 18 Belfast Road in Searsmont. If you didn't pick up a brochure when you came through the door, please feel free to pick one up and join us tomorrow. And we just pray that you all have safe traveling, mercies home, and we hope to see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Excuse me. I apologize. I forgot one last thing. There is a basket out on one of the tables for a love offering if you feel so inclined to make a donation to the ministry for Walk Cross. Thank you.